God over money, time ticking, my time ticking. I ain't even had fries with the Popeye chicken. I ain't even had sides. I was high five licking at the crib on the couch with the Wi-Fi tripping.
What up? It's your boy Marcel Hall. Thank you for listening to the Hallway Podcast. As usual, we talk about sports, hip hop, life, kingdom. You name it, whatever's going on in the news, we talk about it. I know it's been a long time since we had an episode. We do apologize for that. So we do need to address a couple of things since we last were together. Yes, Tom Brady won the Super Bowl. Yes, he is the greatest. Yes, he does not deserve all the credit for that win. That was more about how the Kansas City Chiefs all of a sudden were inept on offense. It was not Tom Brady on defense. Again, I know I still have the hater gene in me for Tom Brady, but I do respect him. He did do his thing in that he threw for 3 touchdowns, a meager 200 yards, but he still did his thing and led his team, I think, with confidence to win the Super Bowl. So props to you. All good. Let's move on from there. We want to introduce a new segment to the Hallway Podcast called 60 Minutes in the Hallway. 60 Minutes in the Hallway is when we go back to our journalism roots. I studied broadcast journalism in college, and as a reporter, you are trained that you must ask the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, why, and how in order to get a story. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. In Arizona, there was a 19-year-old man who faked his own kidnapping to get out of a job. That's right. In Arizona, police found the man near a water tower with his hands bound behind his back and a bandana stuffed in his mouth. He told police that 2 masked men had kidnapped him, knocked him unconscious, then left him where he was found. Police detectives conducted an investigation that found no evidence that a kidnapping or assault had occurred. The 19-year-old man reportedly admitted then to police that he made the story up as an excuse to not have to work. He then was arrested on February 17th for false reporting to police. We obviously have to ask some questions.
I'll ask 21 questions.
We need to know who, what, when, where, why, and how. Because this is absurd. First, what in the world is going on with our youth? Seriously, what's going on in the world with our youth? And I'm not the old boomer who's like, oh, these Generation Zers or these millennials. That's not me. At least that's not me right now, and that's not my heart and my sentiment. Here's what I mean. Rapper Lil Uzi Vert, I think that's how you say his name, Lil Uzi Vert, got a 10-carat diamond implanted in his forehead. Not a tattoo, but implanted. Needless to say, he needs to be careful when he puts lotion on, and he can't use a bar of soap anymore. But then another young man, a high schooler at a 7-on-7 football camp, began to berate and challenge Cam Newton, saying that he was going to be poor and that he was a free agent, as Cam Newton's providing service for the team that he coaches. And now you have this 19-year-old man faking a kidnapping. What in the world is going on with our youth? Who helped him tie himself up? Seriously, who helped him tie himself up? And did those people, did they not think that this was a bad idea? Or did they think that they were actually helping him knowing it was going to be a disaster? Did they know, like, this ain't going to work? And so they're secretly videotaping this and recording this, knowing that they're going to blast it on YouTube and let it go viral. Was this a TikTok video gone bad? You know, you watch TikTok and people are, they have these challenges or jokes where they play on their family members. Was this a TikTok video gone bad? Was he trying to play a joke on his employer? Because at some point, somebody had to ask the question, hey man, do you really need to do this to get out of work? Isn't there a better way to do this? I mean, seriously, were these friends or were these people he went and solicited? Did he go over to Home Depot and hire some people? Did he go on Craigslist and put an advertisement out for somebody to help him to do this? And then when they agreed, how did they continue to do this, or did they just go back and laugh? Then we have to ask, when did the usual excuses become outdated? You know, calling in saying you're sick, you have a doctor's appointment, or even that you have a family funeral to attend. When did that become out of style? When did those things, those excuses, become a boomer move? When did it become trendy to come up with new and exciting excuses like kidnappings in order to get out of work? Dog ate my homework, that's not good enough anymore. And obviously, where does he work? Where does he work? Can it be that bad? Is his job that terrible where he has to come up and create an outlandish story of being beaten up, knocked unconscious, bound by his hands and stuffed with a bandana in his mouth in order to get out of his job? Where does he work? The post office doesn't do this. The post office ain't that bad. Sweatshops are terrible. Is this an American sweatshop that he works at? Who's his boss? Vladimir Putin or Kim Jong-un? I mean, where does he work? And then how long was he out there waiting for police to come find him? Remember, police found him by the water tower with his hands tied behind his back and a bandana stuffed in his mouth. How long was he out there in this position? How long? Did he wait till he heard the sirens and then tie himself up? That doesn't seem like that's going to work. So to me, it sounds like he had to call, tie himself up, and be out there for a little while. He had to have been. And then, another how question, how did he call the police in this situation? Because he had to tie himself up real quickly, or he called while he was somehow in this position. Obviously, this young man was not thinking it through. And maybe the obvious question of all this, why not quit your job? If you don't like it, if you hate it that much, why not quit? Why not look for a new job? Why go ahead and put on the thinking cap and come up with the story as outrageous as that? Why not just quit? And again, we have to ask even more questions. Did his job fire him, or did they let him come back? Once they heard about this, did they let him go? Or did they say, brother, don't worry about it. You don't have to ever come back in. Or did they say, you know what, man, come on, man. We'll let you back in. We're sorry. I know for me, I wouldn't let him back in. You can go. If you don't like that bad, you can go. So Joe Biden, you need to hear this story because we got to get the economy going. I know things are bad, but I didn't think it was this bad. It's so bad, it's to the point where young people are trying to fake kidnappings to get out of work. What was he going to do with this time? And that's the thing. He wasted time sitting here coming up with this scheme. He could have been, playing video games, going, I don't know, to the mall. It's COVID. What are you doing? You might as well go to work. But again, this is why I believe we need to help the youth of America. We have to. Again, I'm not a boomer. I'm not an old guy who's mad. I care for the youth. I want my kids to marry and have a spouse that can be a legitimate, commendable, respectable spouse that can help raise my grandkids. So I'm all for the youth. And this is why I'm calling every man that's listening right now, stand up, become a mentor in your local ministry, stand up and join the Big Brother of America and become a mentor for some youth locally. We have to. We can't let this happen. Guys, we can't let this happen. When people are getting diamonds implanted on their foreheads, talking crazy to professional athletes as they're trying to reach their status, and then we have people faking a kidnapping to get out of work. We have to do something. We have to. So that's the call of the hour. Let's go ahead and let's all be mentors. I usually have a segment, we won't do it today, in which we try to share some jewels and treasures of knowledge that we call Sprinkle Me. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to go ahead and give everybody some free advice. This is for the youth, and this is for anybody older who's thinking about following in the footsteps of this 19-year-old man in Arizona. Get a new job.
That's right.
If you don't like your job, just get a new job. Quit. Okay? Quit. No. Better yet, use your creativity for good. This young man is very creative. He should become a writer. We have some lame stories coming out right now in movies. How many retreads and rethreads can we do? Part 2, part 3, prequels, sequels. We need some new stories. This young man could have used his creativity and really brought forth to the masses a really awesome story because he's obviously a storyteller. So again, here's the free advice for all of us. Use your creativity for good. Don't use it for evil. Don't use it into the point at which you get yourself locked up. That's what happened to this young man. Used his creativity and got himself locked up. Use your creativity for something good. Use your creativity for more activities that we can do online and over Zoom. Use your creativity to help us get to Jupiter. They just landed on Mars. Use your creativity to do that. Use your creativity so that we can have a Zoom call that does not freeze or lag or people have their mics on or off at the appropriate times. Use your creativity for something like that. That's the call of the hour. Let's use our creativity for some good. But let's never ever lie. And let's make sure that we never ever come up with an outrageous story about getting kidnapped, beaten up, knocked unconscious, so that you don't have to go to work. Get a new job, homie. It's your boy Marcel Hall. Tune in to the next episode of the Hallway Podcast. It's official.